Hi guys, welcome back. I'm Carmen.
And I'm Rori.
And today we're gonna do something really fun.
Yeah, super fun.
Rori's gonna tell her coming out story. It's a little bit different than mine.
Just a tad. As a quick side note, we're having a blast so far.
Oh yeah, this is like our fifth video.
And
pretty fun.
We have obviously a lot more in store for you guys, but we wanted to open up a little more in the beginning, have you guys get to know us a little better as we get to know you guys better.
And what better way than with the gut-wrenching story of how we came out.
Once upon a time. My coming out story is very different. Background on me, I'm the oldest of 4 children. We moved a lot growing up, so I didn't grow up anywhere in particular. We were raised very Catholic, so that definitely played a major role in my upbringing, as well as in my coming out. My family and I are very, very close. A different close, I guess, than Carmen's family. But I'm very close with my mom. We still talk all the time.
Every day.
Yeah. And I talk to my siblings on a fairly regular basis, save for one brother in the monastery, which is another story for another time.
That's a whole video.
Yeah.
That's a whole series.
Yeah. All right, diving right in. I had thoughts and feelings, as any kid does growing up, that maybe I wasn't sure who I wanted to kiss. Boys, girls, wasn't too sure through middle school. High school, I kind of started to think maybe I wanted to kiss girls, but I kept that as quiet as could be. For me, being raised in a Catholic household made me want to just stay quiet about it, and it wasn't something I wanted to explore and wanted to open up about to anyone, let alone myself. So I kind of just shoved it aside, kept going. I did kind of recognize that I had a crush on someone for the first time in high school, and
Who was she?
should I say her name?
No, just kidding.
Oh. As the story goes, I went away to college and kind of started to be a little more open.
But you had never kissed boys up until that point.
Yeah, no,
like,
I kissed boys. I mean, I kissed boys. I dated boys. I mean, I got along great with guys, so a couple buds. So yeah, I was not fully convinced, but I definitely had no problem dating boys.
Yeah.
But I always knew that there was just something I wasn't getting still. So freshman year of college, the possibility presented itself to hang out with my friend's roommate, who happened to be a lesbian. And at the time I was like, oh my gosh, a lesbian, yeah, we should probably hang out. Nothing was there romantically, but we all ended up going out one night. We kissed, and a light bulb just kind of went off in my head that this makes sense. This totally feels right. And I continued to explore that. I ended up surrounding myself with an amazing group of people who not only were super understanding, but super, I remember telling a couple of them that I had these feelings, and they were just like, oh, okay, cool. It was no big deal.
So what? Yeah.
So I kind of continued to move forward myself, it wasn't a big deal. I started saying I was bi, which for me was just kind of the safest place for me to kind of slowly start moving over before realizing and kind of embracing that I was a lesbian. I am a lesbian. Sophomore year of college, I went and studied abroad. So I studied abroad in Australia, and I kind of decided before I left to kind of embrace myself and how I was feeling and go over there and just from the get-go embrace being a lesbian as part of my identity. Not the definition of my identity, but a part of my identity. And so I went over and, lo and behold, I was treated like any other person. So my experience there was super empowering. I left feeling confident and excited, really, to explore and to really share this part of myself with so many people. Namely, the first person I wanted to tell was my mom. Because we were so close, I wanted to continue to have her involved in my life. I guess also as a side note to this, my family growing up, we were a very quiet family when it came to feelings and when it came to, one, being really assertive with how you felt and what was going on.
Like confrontation. I don't think there was a lot of confrontation in the household.
Very little confrontation. So
Opposite.
if there were any issues, you kind of just pushed them under the rug and went about your business. Which, since I didn't know anything else growing up, was how I dealt with things up until not too long ago. So I wanted to come home from Australia, tell my mom first thing, like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited, we're so close, I can't wait to open up and be even closer to you.
Because imagine like that, that excitement that you feel when you like discover this thing that you feel like is true to your core, and you want to share that with people. So there's like this sense of like urgency and excitement and happiness, you know?
I mean, I came home so excited. I remember I decided to tell my parents, my mom specifically, on the 4th of July because I wanted to make it my own personal Independence Day.
Which is the cutest thing in the world.
And the cheesiest.
Yeah, I love it.
So we went on a walk, and I talked about how it was so amazing how we were able to stay so close while I was in Australia. And she agreed, and we were talking, and all of a sudden I say, Mom, I'm a lesbian. I don't think I even said that. I think I just said I'm gay. And she immediately like face changed and was like, you're what? And I was like, I'm gay? Question mark? Like, maybe?
If it's okay with you.
Yeah. And it kind of went downhill from there. It was met pretty poor response. Kind of was automatically pushed into the category of like, well, how do you know? Have you talked to a priest? Like, she said you can have these feelings, but you can't act on them.
Which is essentially what Dana's mom said to her in the L word.
Almost specifically. For me, that was just a ridiculous statement. Because how should I essentially shut myself up? You know, why would I quiet myself? When I'm finally like embracing, you know, understanding the piece of the puzzle that is me. And again, not the defining factor, but a piece. Mm-hmm. And I had already told one of my siblings at this point. We get back from our walk, my mom tells my dad, and they just tell me, you know, don't tell your siblings. We'll tell them when we're ready. I came from the perspective at the time of, you know, it took me so long to figure it out. It was a shock to my parents, and it was going to take them, you know, potentially quite a while to figure out and accept. So as time moved on, my mom asked a lot of questions, which was great, but she asked a lot of questions from like a scientific, like medical standpoint. She wasn't asking like, you know, how long have you had these feelings, or when, you know, how do you know, like anything like that. It was more of like, are you aware of the types of diseases you could potentially be getting? Which I'm all about, you know, staying well informed, but those were not the type of discussions I was looking to have, but I wanted to continue to stay as open as possible.
Hey guys, so I just want to let you know that I am consciously leaving out a portion of my coming out story out of respect for my parents. After I did come out to them, they had asked me to see a therapist, which I did, as I was trying to be as supportive as possible through their transition and process. But ultimately, we didn't talk about anything. We didn't make any moves ourselves. We just kept everything quiet, and 10 years at this point have gone by, and only now are we starting to talk about everything once again.
At the end of my story, as my story still goes on, you know, current day, my mom and I are great. We have a great relationship.
And I have a great relationship with her family, a lot of her cousins. Everyone's very nice to me, very sweet.
Fortunately, my experience hasn't been what some people's, as bad as some people's have been. It also hasn't been as good as some people's have been.
Right.
The whole point for me is to not compare through all of those, but know that this is still not what my ideal, what I want. And while it's true, I think at some point you might need to just accept your family as who they are, and that is that, but I know that we are capable of more. Because if nothing else, love and family and the strength that surround those two are unstoppable. And that has been shown to me, and I want that to be something that I can actually witness, like completely, from my parents, through me, to Carmen. My coming out story was long. So sorry. Especially because 10 years in, it's still going.
Yep.
And there is no pretty bow on top.
But that's life.
And I still have a lot of stuff to work out, as we're recently finding out.
Yeah.
I'm crying a lot more freely now, which is like, I'm sure
really fun for me.
It is. She loves it because she cries all the fucking time.
Whoa.
She's just a sensitive Sally. I mean, she'll obviously tear up at any commercial ever.
Yeah.
Or like when a slice of pizza more realistically falls to the ground.
It's true, that happened once. Ben's Pizza, New York City, 2006. Got 2 slices of pizza, dropped them face down. Tears.
Didn't even plan that. Yeah, we actually tried to shoot this video a couple days ago, and someone was a little too sensitive and started crying multiple times.
Yeah.
So,
which is to say that like even 10 years later, there are still like raw emotions.
You know, for anyone watching this who has known for years and still hasn't come out, it's totally okay, but the first step is when you're ready, like taking a small step. If you take enough small steps, you'll get somewhere. You know, fight for yourself, always. I am never going to not be the person I am right now. I can't apologize for that because that is too much of who I was, I feel like, in my past, constantly apologizing. And I'm tired of it. I'm so tired of it.
And I think the hope is that, like, you know, this like coming out story isn't over. I would love it if we're sitting here this time next year or in 6 months and there's like a really good update.
Which will bring you, if and when it happens.
That would be really exciting.
So, for anyone not feeling like you've been embraced with open arms, we are your open arms.
You don't need permission to be who you are.
We give it to you right now. Did not cry in this video, so hats off to me.
Thank you guys for watching, and thank you, my love, for sharing. Okay, we'll see you guys next week, same time, same place. Make sure you subscribe and leave us funny comments and...
Or like thought-provoking.
Like, we'll take either.
Either one.
And yeah, we'll see you guys next week.
Thank you so much. We'll see you soon.